Hello, everybody. We are live, but we're not getting started yet. I just want you to see how pretty we look tonight because Weeze is fine. That's
it again. What are we?
Weeze is fine. So, everybody, you guys have right now 30 seconds to go ahead and like, share, get all your people on this show because it's going down basement. We got topics, we got stuff to talk about, we got people to talk about, we've got special guests. I got stuff in my luckily this all gets edited when we do the re-show. So y'all got 30 seconds. So right now, flood your timelines. Let everybody know. What's up, Janelle Kristen? Let everybody know that the show starts in 30 seconds. Go get your people. Hurry up. Go get them. Run. Where they at? Go get them. Let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Relationship Hotspot podcast. I am so excited for you to be here today, but I am also excited because I have a special guest coming in the chair today. Her name, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, not Atlanta, Illinois, or Atlanta, California, or Atlanta, Texas, but Georgia girl, the peach herself, Miss Chassity Mychelle. How you doing, Chaz?
Hey, Vaughn. Hey, guys. I'm good. How are you?
I am so fantastic. Today is about to be a show like none other. We've got you in the building on par coming up. We have Gugu Atkins, the Mary sister herself, fashion designer, reality star, all of that good stuff. We have Jennifer Jones, a singer out of Chicago, one of my favorite voices, and Morgan's other friend. That's what I call her, Morgan's other friend. But she's going to be on the show today. And, you know, we're going to talk. We have so much stuff to talk about. But before we do all that, people probably wondering, how did this good-looking guy get to meet this good-looking woman? How do we know each other, Chassity?
So we used to work together, you know, in the past. We did a little insurance, you know. And we had a little mentorship thing going on between each other. And it just developed throughout the years. I think we've known each other for what? 7 years, I think.
We have known each other for a whole lot of years.
Yes.
And it's funny that we've known each other, like you said, about 7 years, and yet we're still friends. And that's the part that's just blowing my mind, how we were able to stay friends this long. Because I know how I am, and I get crazy sometimes.
Me too. You know.
Mm-hmm. But yet we've never cut each other except for that one time. And you know what? I got new tires and everything was fine. So
we're good.
I'm excited to get into the show today. Are you excited to get into the show today?
I am. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, but you know, I'm excited though. It's crazy. I think it's that exciting, nervous thing because our topics are so hot. I'm ready to dive in. So like, I'm excited. Let's go.
I was going to wait to bring her in a little bit later, but I'm going to bring her in now because I'm excited to get all up in her business and to hear her take on these topics. So our first segment is going to feature the beautiful voice out of Chicago. She's a powerhouse. She's amazing. And like I said, Morgan's other friend in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Jennifer Jones. How you doing, Jennifer?
Hey y'all. How y'all doing?
Good. Welcome to the Relationship Hotspot podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Now, as you know, we've got some topics, and I'm not even going to lie. I have opinions. Chassity has opinions. You have opinions. So we're just going to get into our opinions. But I need to let everybody know you can interact with the Relationship Hotspot podcast today. How do you do it? I'm about to tell you. You can go to myrelationshiphotspot@gmail.com. Make sure that you send your text message throughout the show. We will be checking our email and making sure that we get back and respond to those on the air. You can call 404-981-6060. You can call or leave a text message. We will respond on the show. Not your phone calls because you might cuss, but your emails or your text messages, Go on ahead and send through to a response on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. And we've got a Kick account. And I think we even have a fans only page. It's all at Relationship Hotspot. So make sure you go to at Relationship Hotspot on all social media and send your questions in. We will be more than happy to answer them. Last thing, to hear past episodes of the Relationship Hotspot, go to anchor.fm/iDream. Anchor.fm/iDream. Now that I've gotten my announcement voice out the way, I can go into my Relationship Hotspot voice.
You better bring it on, Barry.
Well,
yes.
I'm on, somebody. I'm ready for these topics today.
Are you ready?
It's gonna be a little hot and bothered with that little deep voice.
They weren't ready for it.
They weren't ready.
I had it for them. Is all I'm saying. So we've got some topics to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about and get everybody's take on is the whole Cardi B Offset situation. So Cardi B and Offset are getting a divorce. Who saw this one coming? I think everybody in the industry. So I'm going to start with you, Chassity. What's your take on the Chassity Offset announcement about their divorce?
I think I'm okay with. I can understand why Cardi did it. You know, we only get to see a little bit of what they want us to see of their life, and I think as a woman, it's only so much you can do after a cheating scandal and taking somebody back. The trust just isn't the same. So kudos to Cardi to finally realizing that, you know, she deserves a little bit better.
Okay, and Chassity, what's your take on it? Not Chassity, you're Jennifer. Jennifer, what's your take on it?
So for me, I don't think the industry saw it coming. Because celebrity relationships are celebrity relationships. And outside of the one in a million, most of these relationships have scandals. They are just pretty good at keeping them under wraps. Most celebrities are married for business deals. Mm-hmm. So I don't think the industry saw this happening. I think they saw she gonna stay because it's a money thing, and this is what's gonna happen, and XYZ is gonna happen, and blah blah blah. They didn't think she was gonna stay. Now, as a woman, I probably will be like, I'm out of here. You know, you're cheating on me. I've been married before. So now my outlook on it is this is a business deal and this is what this is. And I'm not going to let you mess with my money.
But my situation, my whole, I guess, take on this is if you can cheat on Cardi, who can you be faithful to? I mean, she's beautiful. She's got the money. She's got your kid. So maybe this is the thing. Is it a situation that where industry men just can't be faithful?
I don't think it's just industry men.
That's what I'm saying. Is it just industry men?
Or industry women? I think it's just a human being. I don't think it's a thing of it being an industry person, because it could have been Ray Ray who worked at the Piggly Wiggly. He will leave a doctor to go be with Keisha with the 8 babies. It just depends on what that person wants. If I'm learning, and I've learned, it doesn't matter what you have, who you are, or what you do for a person. There's always going to be something else in someone else that may spark that attention that you don't have. And it's not that you've done anything wrong. Mm-hmm. It's just something else that they want in that moment. So no matter what you do, you could be Superwoman, you could be the woman at the well, you could be whoever you listen. There's going to be something that I may see, you may see in another person that you don't see in your mate. And it doesn't mean your mate is wrong. It just means that this is something that you're yearning for. It's and people aren't honest about that. Even when you're married, you still desire other people. You're human. Your heart can love more than one person. You're human.
Then why
your body can want more than one person? You're human.
What were you about to say, Chaz?
I said it's the 80-20. I mean, I'm taking it back to Tyler Perry. I mean, a lot of times we out here and we think that 20% of what we're missing in our relationship is what we need, you know? And it's not. You forget that majority of what you're looking for and what made you fall in love with the person you with is that 80%. And that small 20 ain't giving you half of what that 80 gave you. So to me, I'm just like, you looking for the wrong things. And then I think you was about to say, why get married? But I think the question of all questions is, why be in a relationship? Why get married if you're still tempted to go out here and do other things? And let's be honest. Half the time that men out here cheating, it ain't got nothing to do with emotions. It's just all about what the figure looks like, what's in the bed. You know, it's not about the personality or what attracts you like deep within. It's always about the physical, what's on the outside. So, I mean, like I said, I'm kudos to Cardi, because to me, people think that just because you have this power couple and he got this money and you think that he's the reason why she got on.
Exactly.
She is who she is. She is Cardi B. She's made a name for herself. She could provide for her child with or without a man. You don't need a man. And she's showing that. And I think that's good that she's showing that, you know, she attempted to try to work past the cheating.
And she did. She did.
We don't know what else went on behind closed doors. And it's time to let it go, because it's not doing nothing but hurting their family in the long run. I
like how Erica said that she also started from the offset of the relationship. I caught your joke, Erica. I caught it. If ain't nobody else, I'm okay. Jennifer, you kind of made a face when Chassity said that it's going to be a physical thing, and that it's like almost seems like it's just inevitable. What were you going to say on that?
So I'm always the friend that plays devil's advocate. And for me, it's not always a physical thing, because I've seen people and I have been cheated on, and then I look at the person and I'm like, here's this booger bear and here's me. It's not about that. It's sort of kind of like, I think it's just, I don't think people get married with the intention to cheat.
Right.
I think that as seasons change and time changes, so does things around you. So if we get married today and then 6 months later you meet Chassity, you didn't have a desire for Chassity when we got married, but now you met her and her vibe is amazing. She's beautiful. She's this, she's that. She gives you the conversation that I may not give you. It was never your intention to be entangled with her. But since you can talk to her and you can't talk to me because my conversation is not as good as hers, now you have a desire that you didn't go into your marriage with. I think a lot of times in church, in marriages, period, people don't tackle the real relationship issues, which are, you're human. So you don't go into your marriage saying you're going to cheat, but sometimes things happen and your attention goes somewhere else. Now, yes, you can have enough willpower to say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do X, Y, Z, and blah, 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 blah. But that doesn't always happen. So I don't always think that it's physical, because I've seen in a number of occasions where the person wasn't more attractive than the spouse.
But here's my whole problem with this. I'm going to tell you right now, my whole problem with all of this is you shouldn't have been seeing or talking to him in the first place. So Jennifer, if you and I get together and we a couple and we especially married, I shouldn't be able to introduce Chassity into my life. Maybe female friends have a cutoff time and a cutoff period. Time of death on female friends was the 15 minutes after we got married. Why?
Well, let's say you and Chassity are now working on this show together.
Uh-huh.
So you don't go into this as an intention of, this is going to be my female friend, but the more and more you're together, the more and more you edit, the more and more you're at the studio, the more and more you got to go grab lunch, the more and more you got to hop a plane and go on trips.
Yeah.
Things happen, and we like to act like we don't have these feelings.
Yeah.
But things happen. So it's not, I don't know what you're doing with these.
Let me put you on the big screen real quick, because you're saying something. I need to make sure Chassity can hear you real good. Now, what were you saying?
Chassity, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You know what? I'm done with this one. I'm going to listen to Erica when she says that he's a young, immature guy with money and many women who are easy access. He doesn't have impulse control. His past relationships show his pattern. I can understand all of that. And I'm going to say hello to Callie, who wanted to say hi as well. But I'm also going to say that at some point, it has to get old finding these new people and getting new vagina. And I think sometimes you just need to stay with the vagina that you're with. Just because, I mean, first of all, it's COVID. don't nobody want to get unquarantined vagina. So, ladies and gentlemen, just stay with who you got, stay where you are, and don't follow the offset rules. But I can't understand if they can't make it and they got all this money and he can't control his impulses and he got that to go home to. He got WAP to go home to. WAP! Not many people have WAP to go home to.
It's just not about that though either.
Like, go ahead, Chassity, because I'm finna go there.
Energy,
the community. If you got WAP, you need to keep
WAP. I don't want you to just think just because I got WAP that you need to come home. I need you to come home because we got this solid foundation. We got this communication. Our energy is lit. Like I need you to come home for those reasons. And the WAP is a bonus. So I don't want you to just come for me for the WAP. It's a bonus.
But if you got
no, but you got to look at it like this too, Javon. He's getting WAP that he ain't responsible for. He responsible for this WAP, which means this WAP is attached to, I got to work for this WAP. I got to pay these WAP's bills. I got to do this. I got to do that. But I can go and get this WAP and I don't have to do nothing for it. I don't have to think about it. I'm not obligated to it. I'm obligated to this one. So I'm going to get some unsecured WAP while I'm still over here paying for this secured. Like, people want to do things that they're not, no one wants to be obligated to anything. Everybody wants that freedom to just be free. So why not go mess with Sally? Because you don't have to answer to her.
I'm going to
answer the party.
I'm going to tell you why, though. It comes down to communication, which is our second topic for the show, communication. Now, part of the communication that we were going to talk about is almost the nonsense overkill communication. But I'm going to bring in also the part that maybe if you just communicate, hey, I'm enjoying you and your WAP, your DAP and your WAP and your rap and your slap, but I need a little extra on the side. Maybe communication was what was lacking in their relationship, and maybe not just his impulse control, and maybe not just the way that she uses WAP. I don't know. Have you ever had communication issues, or have you ever? When your husband, Jennifer, you talked about he cheated on you. I don't even know if your husband. You said you were cheated on before, so I'm going to assume your husband. Bad on him. Did he ever try to communicate to you though before the cheating happened what his needs were before he went out, or did it to you not even matter?
No. It was kind of like there was no communication. It was like, this is kind of what it is. I sometimes I don't think that people communicate what they need. They feel like when you marry a person, you should just know. But in order for you to know, Chassity, that I don't like chocolate, I have to tell you that I don't like chocolate. In order for you to know that I don't like this, I have to communicate that with you instead of you just knowing me because you're my partner. We can be partners for 4 years and you still don't know everything about me. I have to communicate that. So there was no communication. It was kind of like okay, I found what I wanted to do or did this, and this is what I did. And I think that's what happens a lot of times in relationships. People don't take the moment to communicate because 9 times out of 10, if a person is going to cheat on you, they have to sit down and reveal to you that naked part of them that they're not ready to deal with. So I'm not going to sit down and communicate with you because me telling you that I got an issue. No, I want to be justified in what I'm doing. So I'm going to do what I do and feel like you should have known XYZ and this is what it's going to be. Instead of saying, babe, I want you to do this. I need you to do this. I just want to be justified in my choices of doing whatever so that I can feel like I did what I was supposed to do.
When it comes to communication, Chassity, have you had issues in communication with your relationships?
I have.
And
I've had communication issues where I speak from emotions a lot of times, whether that's romantic relationships, family, friends. I tend to speak from emotion. So when I'm in my feelings, I just go at it. So I communicate based off emotions. And I was told years ago that I needed to take a deep breath and really think through what I wanted to say. But in my romantic relationship, I think that was a deal breaker for a lot of the men that I dated was I went off at the handle. So I would go off. My Gemini side would go, my twin, she would come in quickly. And then when I got a time to like take a deep breath and rethink the situation, I see where I could communicate it a lot better than the way I did. And I think that's the issue too, is a lot of times it's not even so much of being quiet, it's how you approach a situation when it comes to the communication part. Like if I come at you on 1,000, you're going to shut down immediately. And a lot of times I realize in my relationships, especially with men, they shut down immediately. So then that's another issue because you're shutting down, I'm going off, and you're not communicating with me. So that makes me angrier. So then we ain't getting nowhere, right? And then that's where the nagging part comes in on the communication level when you're talking about relationships with men and women or women and whatever. When they shut down and nobody, one party's talking and the other's not, you feel like they're not listening. So that situation's going to come up again. So I have an issue with communication, but I'm getting better with it.
I have an issue with communication too, but it's on a whole different level of what we're talking about. My issue with communication is that sometimes I think that there's an over communication and it's just maybe irritating. Like, for instance, I remember, this is a long time ago. I was talking to a woman, sorry, they need to be disrespectful, not misogynistic. I was talking to a woman and she talked so much about every single opinion that she had about everything had an opinion to it. My question is, and it's not really a question, it's a statement. I don't need to hear every opinion that you got about everything, especially when they're all negative. Always negative opinions. What?
Yeah.
Are you ever happy about anything? And I think that can really destroy energy in a relationship too. And I think that communication and that energy kind of go hand in hand. And maybe sometimes in a relationship, you need to just shut up.
Yeah, but do you communicate that with the person? Like, do you communicate that you feel like they're always negative, that they always have a negative opinion to come to? Because I can only speak from a woman's standpoint, from a hurt woman's standpoint. And when you've been hurt, that's all you know. So when and a lot of times we try not to bring that energy into the next relationship or situation that we're in, but we do. Like 100% honest, we do until we heal on our own. And so a lot of that negative opinion and that negativity is coming from, she's been hurt. She's been done wrong on the other end. And she's trying to protect herself and put that wall up. But she needs to know that you have her back. And sometimes that communication, like, not coming at her like, girl, you negative all the time. Like, come on, let's be real. Coming at her like, I understand you've been hurt, but I don't need to hear all the negative. Tell me something good that I'm doing for you, or tell me something good that's working. Like, it's all in that communication.
It's great to hear a woman say, all you got to do is tell me when I'm talking too much. All you got to do is tell me when I'm being negative. No, at all, except a man telling them that they being too negative or they talking too much. Can I get a witness, Jennifer?
No. I'm one of those.
Y'all are not allowing this.
No, I gotta stop you right there, because I'm that woman. You can tell me that, you can check me and say, hey.
Everybody says that, but nobody walks in that truth, Jennifer.
It's a turn on to a woman. When you are strong-headed, when you are like, I'm strong. I'm a strong-willed woman. I'm strong-headed.
And you don't want nobody telling you to shut up.
I'm very dominant. So when a man puts me in my place, that's a turn on for me, because I know I'm dominant. I'm used to doing it. And I'm coming from a single woman standpoint. I've been on my own. I've never lived with a man. I raised my son on my own. And for me, when a man can check me, but check me in the right way. I'm not talking in a negative way.
In the right way.
In the right way. You check me in the right way. Oh, it's a turn on. When you look at me and you say, babe, you are forever negative. I want to be here for you. I understand that you've been hurt, but let's communicate in a better way. It's the way you tell me. When you go rah, then I shut down, and then we're going to be arguing, we're going to be fighting or whatever, because I'm too dominant for that. You're not going to talk to me any type of way. I'm not about to do that.
You got to educate me. So tell me this again, because I want to learn about this communication in order to keep energy. Jennifer, you can help as well, because help me as a man who wants to say, hey, you talking too much. wait a minute, and here's the other part too. Why do I have to sugarcoat the way that I come and tell you to be quiet sometimes? Like, if you can come up to me and tell me everything that's on your mind the exact way it's in your mind when you think it, and then you say it, I should then be able to come to you and say, hey, shut up.
But let's be honest, Javon. If I came up to you in a negative tone, in a negative way, are you going to accept it? Period. Not in your relationship, just period. If I come at you in a raw, like, look here, what you going to do? You're going to shut down, right? You're not going to take it well. But if I come up to you and I say, hey,
yes,
Javon,
Mo, it is about the
Javon, it's all about the delivery. I'll be like, hey, Javon, I think we need to have a conversation. And I don't want it to go left. I don't want it to go, I want to sit down and have a civil conversation. No yelling, no, I just want you to hear me and let me hear you. You don't think that's going to be a difference?
It's totally unreasonable, because no woman says, hey, Javon, I want you to be able to talk to me. And no woman has ever used that tone on me when they're saying what's on their mind and the way that they feel it in their heart. Not one.
Yet. But it also comes with working on as a human. It comes working on yourself, because I'm not just going to say it's women versus men. It comes with working on yourself. Like, to me, I'm going to tell you, 2 years ago, no, I wouldn't be able to sit on this podcast and tell you that that's how I would be able to approach a situation. But I took some time for chastity, right? I focused on me. And I look back at my past relationships. Like I said, I'm not just talking romantic. I'm talking family. I'm talking friends. And looked at how I wanted to be viewed, and looked at, would I approach a situation if somebody was to approach me in the way that I've been approaching certain people, how would I do, And I would come off the same way that they've came off to me. So for me, it's I want to do better. It's not about, it's not about, like she says, it's not about sugarcoating. It's just the fact that if you want this to work, if you're fighting for something, then you're willing to compromise and do what needs to be done to make that work. Does that make sense?
I can understand what you're saying, and believe me, I get it. And Jennifer, your input on this too. But this part of the show, we're talking about quarantine relationships. We're also adding in some stuff that's going to affect quarantine relationships. But I really want to make sure that we get into some of these quarantine relationship stories. So we're going to take a real quick pause in our communication and energy conversation, because there is so much more to get into with this. We have an expert, by the way, coming on at the end of the show. Her name is Shimona McFadden. She's going to come in and give us a mature, sensible, expert opinion about some of these things. And I know for a fact that she's going to agree with everything that I've said so far. But I want to switch gears just a little bit to a little more happier, pleasant conversation. And I'm going to bring in these two wonderful people that have been friends forever and are currently maybe discovering love. So please help me welcome my first friend, Miss Burrell. How you doing, Miss Burrell?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. And Mr. McCoy, how you doing, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
Fantastic. I would love to hear about you guys' story. Who wants to go first?
Rashad, you want me to go first?
Please, go for it.
So I've known Rashad since kindergarten, and he shot at me initially in high school. I turned him down because I was in a situationship with somebody. And now we kind of come full circle because we both work at the same school, and me and my fiance are kind of in a weird place, but Rashad shot his shot again, and now I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do.
That's what's up. Rashad, why did you shoot your shot at a woman that's already taken, my man?
To be honest, I feel like she just deserves better. If you've been in a situationship for several number of years and this man has constantly mistreated you, and you continue to allow it to happen, I feel like that's a problem. And for me as a man, a real man, I feel that it's important for women to be loved properly and shown the proper, love. And I feel like Amira right now, she's not getting that. And that bothers me.
Wow. So what do you think about this, Chassity? Wow.
I don't know. I feel for her.
You feel for her?
Yeah.
I feel for my brother right here. Like, I feel like he has really been like really trying to put in some work, and he recognized the situation, and he went and said, "No, we're not gonna do this." What did this person say right here, girl? He took the lead, quit playing. That's what's up. So I guess the question is there going to be love? Miss Burrell, are you going to leave the fiance and kick it with Mr. McCoy?
I think I'm afraid because we've always had such a good relationship. I'm scared if I take this jump and it doesn't work out, then the friendship will be broken. I'm scared of losing my friend. And I think that's more important than just a fling. Like, I want to make sure it's solid before we make a jump.
I can understand that. I was just about to ask you, like, is it the fear of how solid your friendship is? Do you think if you take it to the romantic side that it would jeopardize the friendship you guys have?
Yeah, like, we've been down for each other since kindergarten. And, like, if we do this, we do it.
Right.
Like, there's no turning back after that.
Wow. So, well, I guess I just need to figure out, when are you going to make the decision, or how can we find out what the decision is going to be?
I can't make that right now.
Well, when can you make it?
I don't do well with ultimatums. I can't make that decision right now. Like, putting me in a box, no. I can't do that. Like,
God, question. You love her. You want her, right?
Yeah.
So are you willing to, like, are you willing to wait to allow her to go through the process and figure it out the best way she can? Like, are you willing to be on the backside and wait and see where it ends up? Or is it like you need to know right now?
Here is the interesting thing. Like, honestly, I've been waiting since I was 17, and I've waited for her to see that she's just been treated horribly by this man that she continued to, go back and forth with for years. I mean, I feel like, once a man, cheats on you several times, or, mistreats you in other ways, degrades you, talks down to you, things like that. I mean, I feel like those are clear enough signs to say, okay, I probably need to get out of this situation because it's not working well. Whereas, although we've been friends for a very long time, I've been that person to, encourage her, to build her up, to lift her up, to let her know that she's worthy and she's deserving. So, if she needs more time, I'm okay with that. I've been waiting this long, so why not wait a little?
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give you an ultimatum, Ms. Burrell. I am going to personally, as the relationship conversationalist, I'm gonna give you an ultimatum. I need you to make a decision by Monday.
No. Because here's the question of all questions. You've been wanting her, Rashad, since you was 17, but have you made that be clear before the fiance came in the picture? Like, did you know it was a friendship?
I think I can make that by Monday.
Okay.
I made that clear
by Monday.
You think you can make the decision on Monday?
I can make it. I can make it by Monday. Deadline is 5 o'clock.
Amira, listen. Is your fiance watching this show?
Well, everybody's watching this show, Jennifer, duh. So she has a decision to make, and she's going to make it Monday by 5 o'clock. And if we want to see the results of this decision, how do we get to see it?
You can tune in at Blackboard Jungle. It's our YouTube channel. Mondays at 5. I'll make it on there.
I like that. And for those who want to know more about Blackboard Jungle, here it is.
I keep holding you down.
Miss Burrell, why don't you like me?
Don't act stupid. You slept with a child in my house.
I just told her the truth. The truth? I didn't know that liking you was a part of my job description.
Go home, JL.
That's not what you wanted me to do the other night.
Did you bring what I needed?
So it's out right now. Before you guys go, give us your social media, please.
You can find me at I am T Nicole and also on the show at Blackboard Jungle.
And Mr. Rashad?
You can catch me at Dev Deontay, all social media platforms.
Excellent. Thank you guys for coming on the show, and we look forward to watching you Monday to see how this relationship goes down.
Thank you. See you later.
See ya.
Blessings.
Let me think about it. Jennifer, yes.
So you mean to tell me I am over here praying for this girl because I'm thinking that this girl really got some issues going on. I'm trying to get her some advice, and this was a show.
I don't know what you're talking about. All I say is,
baby, but that's okay because I got the perfect EP for their web series. Okay, I got a whole 8 songs that I can send right to this web series. Okay.
Does it talk about energy and communication?
And relationship, it sure does. It talks about being caught up in the whirlwind. I got a whole bunch of songs that can go right on over to this show. You hear me?
I love it. I love it. We are so far behind, but I did not know that this was going to get so good, so quick, so fast. So I've got our relationship expert, and she's standing by, and she's going to be in a minute just to kind of give us a little bit more information on this. But we had one more topic that was part of the communication, that was part of the energy, and I wanted to kind of hit that with us before you leave. Is that okay, Jennifer?
Absolutely.
Toxic relations. I have been looking forward to this part. So I saw a meme, and I'm not going to put it up. But, well, you know what? I am going to put it up. Let me see if I can pull up this meme real quick. And it's real simple. I thought it was real simple. Toxic sex is the best sex. Y'all ever made love to someone who wasn't healthy for you? That's crap. Do you ever engage, or have you ever engaged in a relationship that you know was toxic, but you stayed? And if you did, why? And if why, are you in it now? And if you're in it now, what's the name?
Absolutely. I don't think that anyone, human and living, can say that they have not been in at least one toxic relationship. Now, the level of toxicity is something completely different. But yes, I have been in a toxic, I'm talking a good deep, I mean the best I've ever had type situation. It was upset when I wanted to grow and had to let it go. I was like, do I want to grow, or do I want to keep getting this? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? How do I? And had to give it up. It was pretty toxic. My marriage was toxic. But in a marriage, you don't ever look at your marriage as being toxic until you're out of it. And no shade to him, great person, and we can laugh or joke about this whenever, but it was toxic. It was extremely toxic. And when you're married, you stay because you're married or you want to work on it. But sometimes marriages can be toxic too, and you need to let them go too.
Chad?
I've been in quite a few. Relations. I think somebody asked relations or relationships.
We're talking about toxic penis and toxic vagina as well. Relationship.
I think I've been the toxic, and I think I've been before.
That's big right there, Chassity. The fact that you can say that you've been the toxic and been in toxic.
The toxic. I mean, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But then I also have had the toxic, okay? And it's one of those situations that you can't get out of. Like, it's so good, it's a turn on, it's great. It's not going anywhere. It's not good for you, for your mental state. But because the penis is so good, you stay right along with it. You deal with the bull, you deal with a lot of the unnecessary things just because. So, like, I don't know if any of my friends are watching, but I believe I've been the toxic. I believe that
I think that I can definitely say that. But okay, here's the thing. Maybe, can I say this out? I don't have a drink or nothing. Yes, I have been toxic. Yes, I have. I will. Yes, I have. But I think that it's a thing to where when you're in the moment, you don't even recognize that you are, or maybe it was me looking back as the more mature person, I guess now. I think that I'm almost better when I'm toxic. Am I allowed to say this?
And that's exactly what I was gonna say. Toxic people don't realize that they're toxic. They feel like the people that they're dealing with have an issue. And why can't you understand why I'm operating this way? And I'm operating this way because you're causing me to operate. No, you operating this way because you're unstable. You're operating this way because you're hurt. You're operating this way because you have a preconceived notion in your head of the way that things should be. And when the things are not the way that you want them to go, now you're toxic to yourself and the situation. So when a person is toxic, they're not admitting that they're toxic. They feeling like you're the person that's wrong. So yeah, I want to treat you like this, and I want to do this to you, and I want to hit you in your eye, and I want you to come home. But I want you to know that I hit you in your eye because I loved you. You just couldn't accept my love.
I think that right now is the perfect time to bring in our expert, because I need to go into all of these topics. So she is in Miami, Florida, and she has been great at giving me advice. So I'm going to ask her to come in and give us all a little bit. Miss Shimona McFadden. How you doing, Shimona?
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Hey.
I'm pretty good.
I didn't realize how unbalanced this conversation was going to be. This 3 women against this one guy. But I also believe that I'm right about everything that I say, so I'm really not too worried about it. So,
toxic.
Let's start.
He's toxic.
Okay. Why do we like, or why do we enjoy? Why is there so much fulfillment in toxic sex or toxic relationships?
Why do we like alcohol and getting drunk?
It's fun.
It feels good until the next day.
Right. Until the moment over.
So I've been listening to a lot of your comments. Chassity, you are absolutely right. I wrote it down. Toxic penis, being the toxicer, however you want to describe it, all of it is really good. But I don't know. And I'm going to be the first to admit, I don't know. But I think it's part of it is when you think about alcoholism, when you think about drug addiction, when you think about all of those things, there are 2 things. First off, I feel that it's fulfilling the moment. And it's also sometimes dulling the pain. When you're going through those things. And if you think about it, and I can usually speak about alcoholism, that's the first one that we always talk about. And with alcoholism, there's a difference in I'm out with my girls, we're having a drink, I want to have a good night. And there's a difference in wanting to numb the pain, wanting to escape whatever that thought is, just not being in the moment. And sometimes that's what it is when you're talking about toxic sex, toxic relationships, all of those other things. In a moment, you just want to enjoy it, but also you want it to be free, careless. I saw someone earlier, I think they were saying something about throwing tantrums, and really that's what it is. You're wanting the height of that moment. You're wanting to escape sometimes what reality is. Don't get me wrong, when you're calling that person, I might be telling a little too much, but when you're calling that person, you're making sure that person that you're calling because you need to come over is going to help you escape all of the mentals right then and there that you're feeling. So at the same time, when you're wanting to get drunk, you're not just going to go and get some average stuff. You're making sure that it's something that can dull the pain. It's something that could take you to that other moment. And then tomorrow you'll come back and think about it. And chances are when you're talking about the toxic sex and all those other things, I'll think about the consequences tomorrow. But right now, I need to escape the mental of what's going on. And sometimes it honestly is just that thrill.
Yep.
It really is that I want the good ride for tonight. I want to just live free. And it's good.
Yeah, I've been a good ride for more than one night. So my question then is, I guess, when is it, or how do you get out of it then? Like, how do you put the bottle down? How do you stop smoking? How do you either transition from being toxic or being intoxic to being more healthy?
I think that becomes a conscious decision that you have to make. Yeah. Just like when you're in an abusive relationship or whatever the case may be. But I think you mentioned also when you're talking about deciding to put the bottle down. I hope it doesn't get to the point of where, there are consequences that happen that you can't reverse. I hope it doesn't get to the point, let's talk about alcoholism and stuff like that, you've gotten that DUI or, you've gotten a serious accident that you've caused death to someone. But hopefully it's when you've reached that point of saying, okay, enough is enough. Or I'm tired of having that feeling in the morning. I'm tired of waking up and looking at the person beside me like I could chew my arm off because I really don't want to be with them, but it was good, so I did it. When you get tired of waking up in the morning, not having a conscience, when you're drinking or whatever the case is. So I think it's when you wake up and you're finally deciding and you're gaining that conscience and you're saying, listen, I'm over it. I could speak for a personal moment. I remember when I was going through the transition of my mom passing away and everything was great. Still did everything accordingly. Went to church, went to dance practice, still worked out, still did everything. But I also knew that there were moments in which I acted out. There was moments when I dated a person that was, younger than me that I probably shouldn't have. But at that point, I was carefree. At that point, I didn't want to think, although I was still thinking about other things. That was just my moment to be free to act out. And eventually I was like, okay, Mona, this is good. It was fun. But now it's time for you to grow up. Now it's time for you to get back on your path. And hopefully, and I think someone put it, you get tired of that empty feeling. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You get tired of that same thing over and over again. And at that point, it takes a conscious decision for you to decide.
Is it possible for two toxic people to become untoxic while still being together?
Is it possible for two toxic people to become untoxic? Everything is a possibility. Are you willing to put in the work? And while you're in your toxicity, I think also having conversations, so understanding and starting and being able to define what is it that we're doing. Is it just that we're sleeping together, we're getting our rocks off, you're fulfilling a purpose, or do we want more than that? Because at the same time, when you're talking about two of them, one person can say, okay, I'm over this. And the other person can say, no, listen, I'm comfortable where we are. I like this no strings attached. I like seeing you, every third Thursday of the month and we get whatever we're going to do and I holler at you. No, it didn't happen to me, y'all. Okay. But
so you would say communication
absolutely
will be a key part in deciding if those two toxic people could work.
Yes.
Or could not work.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think communication is key with everything that we're talking about when you guys were talking about the relationships and so forth like that. With the young lady that was just on in the situationship, the biggest thing really is when you're talking about a communication. And with communication, are we talking to be heard or are we talking so that we can hear the other person? A lot of times when we're talking, we're not necessarily listening to what the person is saying. We're listening to respond. And I know we hear that all the time. I always tell my clients when I'm working with them, have a conversation. Don't talk at the person. Don't talk and be ready to, no, well, you said this and you said that, hold up, because what we're not going to do. But when you're able to really have a conversation and having an adult, mature conversation, you're really able then to say, okay, well, this was fun, but hey, what if we go out during the day instead of me coming over tonight? And you start maybe initiating and seeing how that person takes it. Hey, what are you doing on Friday? And then at that point, I think being adults, if you're not able to come full out with it, being adults, if you're, hey, what you doing on Friday during the day? You know, you want to go to the park? Right now it's COVID. You want to go for a walk? You know, something in that regard. And then you seeing how that person takes it. And that lets you know whether it is a situation or something that may progress from there. But it really is having a conversation and being able to communicate.
I like that look on your face, Jennifer. What are you thinking about?
Because, okay, so she stated like the communication and asking, let's go for a walk, you know, it'll decide if it's a situationship. I've been in situationships where we did all of that. We went to dinner, we went to breakfast, we went to church. We did this, but it was exactly what it was. It was a situationship. I think that sometimes
you can find great toxic vaginas and penises in church, by the way.
Hello?
Virtually, but please, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
And you do. I could be real bad, but I'm not. I'm gonna be good. So I don't think that things start off toxic. I think they become toxic when one person has an expectation and that expectation is not met. And then we create a toxic situation because now you're not giving me what I need. I ain't gonna leave, but you're not giving me what I need. So I'm gonna create this whirlwind and stir up all this havoc so you can figure out that I'm kind of what you need, but I'm an issue too. But now what a toxic person doesn't realize is that while you're creating these issues, this person is not being drawn to you. They're being taken back by you, but this person has a need for your WAP and your DOP as well. So even though you ain't doing nothing but pissing them off, but they gonna still come smash you. But they ain't gonna think about you. They ain't gonna check on you and see if you got COVID or not. Nah, they gonna come do what they do and they gonna because if it's good, it's good. But I just don't care about you. I did at one point, but you pushed me to a place of, nah, I'm good on that. But you still got something I want. That's like when you decide you go to a restaurant and they piss you off. You ordered a steak. They did not do the steak, but you love the restaurant. You don't stop going. I'm going to order something different this time. I'm going to keep visiting, but I'm not going to let you give me that no more. But I ain't going to stop coming. I'm just not going to order steak from you. And then when I order chicken, if you make me mad on a chicken, now I'm going to try salmon. Until you eventually exhaust all of your options with that person.
So Jennifer, I like exactly what you said, and let's use the restaurant analogy. So do you go back and give them an option or the opportunity to make the steak again? And what happens if they get the steak right this time?
So here's the thing. A lot of times the chef will get the steak right when you tell the chef that it's wrong in that moment. But if that chef doesn't really know how to cook that steak, he's going to remember in that moment, but he won't always know how to do it. So there'll come a time again that steak is going to be wrong because this is not something that they know how to do. So it's sort of kind of like when you're teaching a child multiplication. They'll realize in the moment 2 times 2 is 4. But if you ask them tomorrow, they may not remember. It's a trained, learned behavior. So a toxic person is usually going to give you what you want in the moment because you got something that they want. But it's not something they can always provide for you because it's not something that they can naturally do without you assisting them.
So then I have a question. Go ahead, Javon. I'm sorry. So then I have a question for you guys. Do you feel that there are some people that are just naturally toxic, or that because of situations they become toxic? Because what you're saying, and to me, there are 2 different things. There are some people that because of a situation or because of dating or whatever the case is, they become toxic. And then you just have one that you're like, girl, you crazy.
What I hear you saying is that they didn't open up the restaurant with the intention of cooking bad food.
No, they didn't. I don't think anyone goes into something with the intention of it being bad. You go into it with the intention of this being something great. But somewhere down the line, somebody loses, there's some negligence somewhere. And usually in a toxic relationship, Javon, here we are. We're in a fresh relationship and it's amazing. And it's not a relationship. We're just doing what we're doing. So now here it is, 4 months later of us doing what we're doing. I fall for you and you still good on me. I don't want to leave you, but I want what I want and you're not going to give it to me. So now I'm an angry Black woman because I want to be here with you because it's good. I want to stay. I want it. But you didn't make me mad because you won't just give it to me.
But I also think people come in a situation toxic. Like, I think they come in knowing that they are a toxic person, setting false expectations, like the restaurant.
The false expectations
of what they're looking for and what it is, and they know what type of person they are. So I do believe that people come into situations where they know they're toxic. They're just playing the game, the best way they know how, because the other person is allowing them to do it that way.
The best way they know how. Sometimes people play games that they're not versed to play. I'm not going to sit at a table and play spades when I know that I can only play pity pat. The spades table ain't for me. I need to get with somebody that can only play pity pat. I'm not going to come into a situation and know, because what happens is a person says to themselves, oh, I can do this. I'm good. I know what it is. And I know, no, you can't do it. Then you figure out in 3 weeks from now, you really couldn't do it. Well, you shouldn't have sat at the spades table when all you can play is Uno. And now you're stuck and you got a hand. You're trying to play a game and win, and you're not because you don't know what you're doing.
We absolutely are going to finish this conversation. What we need to do is take a real quick break. We need to come back. We need to close down the show. And then once we go through the ending parts, then we're going to come back into this as like a bonus section of the show. But I need to do this real quick. So this is real great conversation. We're going to be right back to continue it and close out the show right after this. Homebodies versus clubheads. This is the one that's really essential to my heart because I am a homebody. There is nothing pure. There is nothing that brings me unmitigated bliss than sitting at home in my drawers or silk pajamas, Netflix and chilling. Whether it's with you or by myself, I am a homebody. I'm saying homebody as in we at home chilling, not spending no money, or we grabbing a pizza or some Chinese food or whatever. And when we at home, we chilling and we cheap. When we go out, whether that's to a church convention for 2 hours at the Hyatt in a conference room, surrounded by people sweating and praising God, or whether it's in the club for 2 hours around people sweating and sometimes still praising God there too.
How long has it been since you've actually been to a club?
2 weeks. And let me tell you what happened.
To a club
2 weeks ago. Absolutely.
So how was your experience?
It was expensive. Why am I spending $11 to $14 for a drink when it's mainly ice? Sonic has ice. Let's go to Sonic, get some ice. Let's go to, Seagull. Let's go to Total Wine. We can spend $5 on a Chardonnay. We can spend $12 on a vodka, and we can blame it on the alcohol at home.
There's really a deeper issue to the reason why you are a homebody then.
Because I'm cheap. Is that what you're trying to say? The deeper issue is me being cheap.
What the real root issue of why you don't want to go out. Because even if you're not going to a club, like I don't go to a club, but I definitely go out.
You go out, right.
I am a single woman and I have events that I go to.
So you're not really a homebody.
I enjoy my life. So technically I am a homebody.
No, you're not. You spend most of your, Nikisa, I know you. You spend most of your day in the street. Every day.
Javon.
Don't take a deep breath with me.
Javon. Okay. So let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So with you're not a homebody either because 24 hours in a day, you are out of your house at least 20 hours of that day. So when you say you're a homebody, you actually have to be a homebody before you talk about being in a relationship and being a homebody.
I know somebody that's not a homebody anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, we are welcoming to the stage right now Miss Nikisa. How you doing, Kisa?
Hey, Javon.
Good to see you. And how you doing, Miss Nina Beck?
I am wonderful. How about yourself?
I am good, not as good as Nikisa. She is no longer a homebody all up in Vegas, giving people a business.
Now you're right.
Oh, no, I was right then too. So, as you guys know, Nikisa and I host the Relationship Hotspot right here. Today, I got to host with the wonderful Chassity Mychelle. It feels like I was like with another woman. So, Nikisa meet Chassity, Chassity meet.
Well, she's beautiful as well. So she did a very good job as a co-host.
Yes, she is, and yes, she did. And next week on the Relationship Hotspot is going to be you and Nina. What are you guys going to be talking about next week?
So one of the topics we're going to be talking about next week is the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule. Now, Javon, I know you know the 80-20 rule.
Why do you think I know the 80-20 rule?
You don't know the 80-20 rule?
Is that where I pay for 20% and the girl pays for 80 because she's an independent woman?
Wow.
Not at all. That's in relationships how they say that you can only get 80% of your needs and wants from the person that you're dating, and you're supposed to supply the other 20% of the relationship to equal the 100% of the needs and the wants that's needed in a healthy relationship.
Wow. Well, what I'm going to say is that I think that we should be 50-50 in everything that we do. But I definitely look forward to the conversation. Are you excited to get on this, Ms. Nina Beck?
I am. I can't wait to talk with Nikisa about this 80-20. I have a little bit of insight, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we are looking forward to you guys' conversation. We're looking forward to you all doing the Relationship Hotspot next week. Same time, right here at 7 o'clock on the Relationship Hotspot Facebook and on the NexusTV.com.
All right, you got those proppers together?
Ma'am, no. So I saw your little message. It is so hard to give the phone number, email address, and the social media all at the same time. So we're going to pre-record that son of a gun next time. So that's what that's going to be. So we look forward to the conversation. Nikisa, Nina, thank y'all so much, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so I'm going to cut right there. You guys don't move. Let me do this real quick. Okay, so Chassity, this has been such a great show. Thank you so much for coming on. For those who want to see you, where can they find you and your social media and all that good stuff? So my Facebook social media is Chassity Mychelle, as you see at the bottom of the screen. My Instagram is Amore, AMORE.Mychelle. And then you can also follow my soon-to-be clothing line, Pure Amore, which is PUREAMAR. You can follow that on Instagram at Pure Amore, or you can follow it on Facebook, Shop Pure Amore. But stay tuned on that because that's coming really, really soon, and I'm excited about that. Excellent. We are excited about your future. Thank you so much. You've been an amazing co-host on this show, and I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with you. Absolutely. This has been amazing. Thank you for asking me to join you today. This topic was hot. I loved it. Great conversation. And I look forward to doing more with you. Thank you. Me too. All right. So that's the end of the regular show. Now, I need to bring in our expert and Miss Jennifer back. How y'all doing? Okay, so the real show has ended. Everybody that has come through, if y'all need to go and put the babies to bed and get ready for tomorrow, y'all go do that. But I've got some more questions, and it looks like we've got about 13 people. And listen, again, if y'all got to go, y'all go ahead and go. It's cool. It's fantastic. Miss Jennifer, you got a few more minutes to chat with us? You are on mute, and I didn't do it. You did it. There it is.
I'm sorry. Sure.
Put my friend Chassity up there. Okay, so for those who want to go ahead and share this post show, feel free to go ahead and bring more people in. So here's my question. Is it the responsibility of the toxic vagina or penis to remove themselves from a situation that they see toxic, or is it more prone on the person who is receiving the benefits of the toxic person to get out? Am I making sense?
No.
Yes. So pretty much you're saying, I'm going to use us. me being the beneficiary of the toxic, me coming to get the goods and all the other stuff, is it up to me or is it up to the person that's delivering to remove themselves?
Yes.
And I think that it's up to me. Because at the end of the day, the person that's doing it may not know. They may not know that, what's going on. They may really look at it like, yo, we good, we doing what we doing. But if I view it as toxic, because that's another thing also, it's based upon the person's perception. Because if I view it as toxic and I know that what I'm going into, and I know that, I'm there just to get my needs met, X, Y, and Z, at some point I need to tell myself, okay, hey, this is not good for you. In the morning, like you said, you're waking up and this is not a feeling that you're wanting, or this is going nowhere and it's just sex. And honestly, sometimes we could say good sex, bad sex, whatever in between, and different, who cares? But we know that it's not fulfilling something of what you're looking for. Then it's up to me to remove myself, because again, you like, yo, we good. I get it. She leave in the morning. We don't have to do the conversation. I don't have to spend the extra money. We're good. And even, I think Jennifer mentioned it, even if it is a toxic relationship and, I'm like, we still go to dinner, we still do all those other things. It's up to me to decide, okay, this is not what I want. This is not going anywhere. I want more. I deserve more. Yeah. I need more. And once you make that decision, then it's time for you to go ahead and do what you need to do.
I agree. I in my toxic relationships, that was me, like on the other, like me not being the toxic person, but being with someone who was toxic, I had to make that decision for myself to remove myself. It's like I woke up, you go through it time and time again. And like I said, not every situation you go in with the expectation of knowing that you're going into this situation. You have those conversations up front that this is what we want to do, but it goes into that situation along the way. And you get I got those hints like, okay, this ain't going the way I want it to go, but I'm sticking through it just to see. Like I'm hanging on to that hope that it's going to change for me.
Yes.
I want it to change. I'm hanging on to it until eventually I get to my breaking point. And that breaking point is like, okay, look, I'm not getting what I want. I don't waste too much time. And I'm a person that I give my all. So it's years when I say I give my all. Like I done wasted 10 years consecutively in relationships where I gave too much of my energy and too much of my time to a situation that I knew was too toxic. And then I walk away and I'm looking back at my life like those 10 years could have been used on somebody else or for myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my thing with that though. Is the person wasn't always seen as toxic. And I don't think that people. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. So since the show is over and this is our free-form conversation, I'm going to say that so I got the whole persona for the show, and I'm going to go ahead and say I don't consider myself toxic. I think that I'm a good person with good intentions who sometimes has issues, but I don't think that I'm toxic. I don't think that I negatively impact any of the people's lives that I've had in my life. So I've had girlfriends, I've had situationships, I've had friendships with benefits, but I always try to go in with positive intentions and try to leave the situation maybe better than when I came into it. And I think that that's caused me some drama in life, but that's that's a separate thing. But I have been told by a couple people, again, back in the past, like I consider you a toxic situation and toxic this and toxic that. And I said, well, why? Why was I considered toxic? Well, I knew that you weren't any good for me. Okay. So I wasn't good for you. It doesn't make me toxic. That just makes us incompatible. Come on, 10 years of college.
But you were toxic to her.
Right.
It doesn't make me a toxic person. I think
it doesn't. It doesn't necessarily. To me, I think again we're defining. Right. It just makes you a toxic person to her. It doesn't mean you, because it means the situation in which you guys are in. To me, the way I'm viewing it, it means the situation in which you're in. And so I'll use, for example, like you said, I've met some person, and I think Chassity said it, you with this person for a whole year, and it's like oh man, in the beginning, you already imagine it. Look, my dress gonna be like this. Let me go ahead and start eating right. Let me get it together. And then, 3 months down the line, you're like, yeah, but you're still trying to make it work. You're still wanting to see the best in that person. And again, it's not necessarily the person. It may be their actions. So if I'm realizing, perfect example, if I'm like, hey, I bring up something, it bothers me that we're not doing X, Y, and Z. Or it bothers me, my needs aren't being met, but I'm still there. So it's not necessarily you, it's more so the situation in which you're in that now has become toxic.
I agree. I think a lot of it is, I've been in a really, really toxic relationship. And it wasn't that the person was a bad person. It's just what I was looking for in a relationship and the things that I wanted, he wasn't giving to me. And it was creating this toxic situation that I don't think neither one of us realized it was creating. So I agree with Dr. McFadden. Like,
girl, call me doctor. Speaking into existence. Go ahead.
I think that you tend to. It doesn't make you a bad person. Like, you could be a toxic person to someone else, but it doesn't make you a bad person or a toxic person to the world or to the outside.
That definition just really bothers me, though.
But here's the other thing also, and I'm sorry. Sometimes the person that's, quote, being the toxic person may not realize that they're toxic. They may be doing according to their understanding and what they know, but it may not be fulfilling my needs and what I want. So therefore, you're doing me no purpose. But at the same time, as we're talking about, and what we identified as being toxic is not really having a relationship, but we're still going, because we identified toxic as sex, as that person that's going to get your needs met. So I think now when we're talking about it, we're giving the label toxic a little more than what we originally identified it as. So I think we need to go back to that part also.
I think that any of it can be toxic. The relationship, the situationship, the friends with benefits. I think any of it can be toxic, but we also have to look at it as, think about vitamin C. Vitamin C is something that's supposed to be good and build your immune system. But what if Chassity is allergic to vitamin C? It doesn't mean that vitamin C is not a good supplement. It's just not a good supplement for Chassity.
You better come through, girl, with that analogy.
Pass the offering real fast. Come on now.
Come through with it.
Drop them dollars or hundreds. I can't see what you're dropping.
You need my cash app while you're playing.
Listen, I will drop the cash app quickly.
All because vitamin C can be good, but if she's allergic to it, that means vitamin C ain't good for her.
Or maybe having too much vitamin C.
Yeah,
it's harmful to anyone. Anything good, anything that you do in excess can be harmful. Taking a shower too many times a day can be harmful. It's good that you clean your body, but then it can be harmful. Anything you do too much of can be harmful, except pray, but it can be harmful. So even if Chassity ain't allergic to it and she does take it, but then instead of taking 2,000 milligrams, she took 5,000 milligrams. It ain't gonna kill you, but now you don't feel good. So now you got to get it out your system.
And I think, though, that men have a situation to where if they know that they're good and they know that they're providing that vitamin C and that vitamin D, that it's something to where now it's like a pride issue. Like, if you're having issues and I know I'm a good person and I know that you're good for me, I want to be the one to help you overcome whatever it is and potentially making the situation even more harmful. I've got a fellow podcaster that wants to come on and say something about her and her hair ain't done, her makeup ain't right, so she is not doing video. But Erica, what were you? You were first of all contributing great in the post. What did you have to say about the topic? Erica,
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Hey, ladies. Hey, Chassity. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Shimona.
Hey, Erica.
I've been enjoying the discussion. Y'all been doing a great job. Y'all have to keep that dude over there in check because he could get out of line. Yeah, but I have been in my share of toxic relationships. I've been the toxic person, and I have been the recipient of toxic behavior. I feel like the responsibility is equal because a lot of times we can see the toxicity in the other person, but we don't realize toxic attracts toxic. When I was in those relationships, it was because I had a toxic mindset that made me be attracted to that type of person. And I had my own set of issues and my own set of bad behaviors that I didn't recognize until I was out of the situation. And so once I look back on those relationships, I see what, where my mindset was and how I ended up in those relationships and how I contributed to the downfall and the breakdown of those relationships, and how I even approached relationships and how I chose partners. Everything about that process was toxic.
Wow. So it's just a whole a toxic train almost of just toxic after the next.
Yeah, yeah. And we talking about toxic sex. That was like an addiction for me. The breakup to makeup cycle. You get into it, y'all break up, then y'all have that makeup sex. It's like the best sex you ever had in your life. Then you got to figure out a way to break up again so you can get that feeling again. And it's just crazy.
Yeah, say it again, Erica. Say it again,
Go
baby.
ahead.
What is it? Make up to break up, break up to make up. What's the song?
Break up to make up.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. I think when it comes to toxic sex, that's the issue there. It's amazing sex. Like the chemistry you guys have in the bedroom is amazing, but you know the situation is toxic. And that alone is even more toxic. Like it's ready to explode.
But I think it goes back to the original thing of what we talked about is it's allowing you to escape your reality at that moment. It's allowing you to go to that place of fantasy or whatever it is. And I said it before, you're not going to go to an average person. You're going to someone that you're like, okay, I'm about to be real good when we done, baby.
If you going with somebody that you know is gonna knock their headboard off of the level, you know. You're not just going to get anything. You going to somebody that you know. I mean, your wig is gonna be crooked, but you're gonna go to work happy and chipper.
Yeah,
you like you got that glow, baby. How are you doing?
Yeah.
The glow, the glow,
the glow is different. It's a big difference. But I agree. It's almost
I know about the glow.
I felt like it was an addiction for me. Like I felt like the situation I was in was an addiction to, and I use the word addiction. It was that was what was keeping me there. Like I knew everything else, I was out the door, but that sex, that chemistry within the bedroom kept me just going right back to feeling good for that moment. And then, go ahead.
No, go please.
No, I want you to.
I was gonna say, but I think now if we could switch it for a second. To me now, that's where it goes into the mental piece. That goes into the mental health and stuff like that. So while it's good for the physical, it's doing absolutely nothing for your mental. And that's where at that point, as I used before, when we talked about the addictions of alcohol and drugs and so forth like that, it's when you decide and you make that conscious effort. Okay, what am I trying to do? This is not good for me, because again, you're repeating that same cycle, the makeup to break up, X, Y, and Z, and you have not progressed at all on your own personally for your mental either. And that's when you're back in that same place again. That's where you're sitting there looking at it like, I know I deserve better. And so at the end of it, you're back in that same place. You're back in that place. And, hopefully, I hope it's not a place of pits and all the other things, but you're back at that place again of, here we go. It's the same thing. What am I gonna do?
Well, here's a question.
Go ahead.
Here's a question I have for you ladies, because I recall a specific point in my life where I was in a toxic relationship with my youngest son's father. He's 13, so it was almost like 13 years ago. And I remember getting drunk one night and calling him, over for that late night, whatever we do. And was like right after we were done, I knew that was going to be my very last time doing that with him, because I had such an empty feeling and I hated myself so much because I had already promised myself I wasn't going to do that again. And here I am doing it one more time. But I knew in that moment that was going to be our last time doing that. And I never did it after that. So I wanted to ask you ladies, have you ever had one of those points where you were at your lowest and you just knew that this is it, I'm not doing this no more?
Yeah, I think for me, like I said, mentally, I walk away before physically. So I'm already mentally done. So then that last, like you said, that one last little hoorah you go to, you're like, okay. And it's that last time that you realize that it's like, it did nothing for me. Like the feeling that I was having, the excitement, that thrill I got afterwards, it wasn't there. And at that point, I'm with you, Erica. I knew that I was done. It left me feeling no better than when we walked in the room together. So I agree. I've been there.
Erica, if I can make a statement, you did mention earlier that the responsibility is equal, but here you just made the clarification that the responsibility was on you. And it goes
Right.
back again. So, I definitely agree that it's equal, but based upon what you're saying, had you not made that decision, how much longer would your toxic relationship, your situationship, whatever it was, how much longer would that have gone on? And it's because you decided, okay, I don't want this. Now, I'm sure eventually the guy would have made the choice, but if he made the choice, how would you have felt like, but I still want this. I still enjoy where we are. I still enjoy this piece of, although I don't have you totally, I still got something going on. So I commend you for that also, because that takes a lot. And as women, we're going to ride it out. We're going to keep giving them the benefit of the doubt. Well, it'll change, or, oh, it's just the sex, or, oh, it's just that. But I really commend you on that and actually taking the responsibility, as many of us have done, saying, okay, I don't want this. And unfortunately, sometimes it goes down to that was my final straw. Or we're waiting for that moment to say, okay, if he does this, that's it, I'm over. But we're waiting for that final, as opposed to us saying, you know what, this is not for me. This is not good. I'm good. I can do better than this.
And the whole time the guy has no idea that all of this stuff is going on.
He knows.
Oh, you know. Don't you play like you don't know.
You don't. You're sitting there thinking that you're either helping this person along or that you're providing what they need, and then all of a sudden you get the cutoff, and you're like, wait a minute.
The one thing about a woman, we're going to express our concerns and what our needs are.
That comes down to communication. Sometimes y'all don't express it good enough, well enough, good or well enough. Sometimes
now I'm gonna have to play devil's advocate inside with Vaughn a little bit.
Also tells it, right?
Sorry, let me start with Chassity, then Jennifer, then Shimona. What you say, Chassity?
I said the sex tells it, right? Like for me,
sex means that there must be something wrong in the relationship.
No, my sex is different when it comes to that cutoff stage when things are different. Because, and I say this for myself, I'm a chemistry girl. So like for me, like I said, mentally, like when I'm all the way, like Erica stated earlier, when she said that last time she knew she was done. For me, I feel like it's, and maybe it's just the afterthought. I feel like it's different. I feel like my vibes are different. I feel like my mood, like, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I feel like I'm different. Like my vibes and everything that I'm giving off is totally different. I don't know if I'm in this alone, but I feel like, yeah, that's how I feel. I'm different.
Jennifer?
I think I'll go back to say what you were saying, Javon. Everyone doesn't always communicate what they need or what they want. So a woman, I may be a woman that will communicate, but Chassity may not be a woman that communicates it. And then Shimona may be a woman that communicates it. And then Erica may not be a woman that communicates it. And then sometimes we could all be communicators, but that doesn't mean that we're good communicators. So I can go with that. And with what Chassity was saying, I can't say that the sex will change, because if the sex is good, the sex is good, whether I like you or not. It just, if I really, really want to be there, now when it's over, I might lay there and cuddle. When I don't want to be there, I'm just gonna get up and go home now. Like it'll decide on what. If it's good, it's good. I may stay. Or if we hate each other, all right, same time next week. I'm out of here. So it may not change. The sex may not change, but I'm the kind of person I will communicate how I feel and what I need. But I'm also not the person. My marriage turned me into a different woman. So whereas I would wait, I'm gone before my mind is gone. I don't do that. I'm mentally gone, and then I'm gone because I've dealt with different things. Like I've been married, so I look at things a little differently. So for me, it's not a matter of giving up or chance after chance or chance after this is what it is. Okay, I'm out of here, and it doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes it something that I'm not gonna deal with.
I think you're creating bad people, but I'm going to tell you why in a second. What were you going to say, Sean?
I was just going to say, Jennifer, but sometimes your nonverbals are your communication. Like you just made a perfect example that, when the sex is good, you're going to stay and cuddle. When you're in, you're vibing with each other, you're going to stay and cuddle. But if you're not feeling him right now, you're getting up and leaving. And that's that part also. So we may not, as some people, and we know they may not verbally say, hey, this is what's going on. But when I say sometimes communicating, our actions begin to change. And and most times they say for a woman that before we actually leave, we've already decided that things are. How does it go? Before we leave, we've already decided that we're going to leave or something like that. However it goes, so we're at that point. Or I think they say for a woman, before a woman cheats, she's already. I forgot. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So. Exactly. So I think in that case right there, a woman may not communicate. And that's what I was saying, Javon. A woman may not be able to say, hey, this is what's wrong. A real woman will, hey, this is what's wrong. Let's sit down and let's talk about it. I guess me being a therapist, believe it or not, y'all, I don't argue. Let's sit down and talk about what's going on. And if I'm realizing that we can't talk about it, okay, let's find another avenue. And I understand sometimes talking does not always work. But as a woman and as a man, I pick up on your nonverbals. I pick up on the fact that if you used to call me every morning at 7 a.m. when you were on your way to work, you called me when you had your break and you called me in the evening, understanding that as you progress in your relationship, things change, the timing changes. But now if I'm talking to you once a day and it's like 15 minutes and we are pulling conversations with each other, that's a nonverbal communication that something is going on. That's a nonverbal communication that one or the other is not happy and there's something up and we need to discuss that.
Exactly.
There is so much more to pull off of this phone, but I know that I've had Chassity talking for an hour and 15 minutes longer than she has in the last 6 months. So I am going to thank you, Chassity. Thank you, Jennifer. You're supposed to be on for 10 minutes and you gave me an hour and 28, so I appreciate you as well. Shimona, I only paid for 15 minutes and you gave me a whole hour, so I appreciate you. Erica, you weren't even on the program and I just dragged you in here. Ladies, I thank you guys so much. I have so much more to ask and to dive into. So I guess after Nikisa and Nikki, once they do their show next week, that woman's name was it? Miss Beck. Once Nikisa and Miss Beck do their show next week, are you all willing to come on next week? Because I got some more stuff. And if she'll come on, and I don't know if she will now, but I'm going to just throw this out there. I would love to get Morgan to come on the show with us as well.
So here's the thing, Javon. I would love for Morgan to do that, but that's going to change your show because Morgan is an open book, and Morgan's mindset and thought process on relationships are completely different. And it is, if you pull her into this show, it's going to be on fire. It's going to be a spicy number.
In 2 weeks. So thank you, Morgan, for coming. Simona, can I get you in 2 weeks?
Yes, 2 weeks.
And because not next week, but the week after.
Okay. But wait, how are we going to find out about whether the lady, the girl, the Monday at 5 p.m.?
Watch Monday at 5 o'clock on YouTube. It's called Blackboard Jungle. It's an amazing show. I went to school with the woman that created and wrote it. I went to school with her. Amazing actress, amazing singer, Nicole Dandridge. So please, everybody, go watch Blackboard Jungle on Monday at 5 o'clock on YouTube. It will be worth the time. Thank you guys so much. We've gone on an hour. We went over 30 minutes, but it's okay because it was great conversation. Erica, thank you so much. Thank you to the producer, Jennifer, in the background for helping put this all together as well. Good luck next week to Nikisa and Miss Beck. And until then, take care of yourselves and each other.
Bye.
Good night.